Good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me well. This is the first time I handle the session by myself, although Faith and George keep an eye on in the background, which I'm very grateful for. A warm welcome to you all to the daily meditation Sangha Life. The theme this week is entering fall, and I'm honored to lead this week and to share this time of practice with all of you from all across Europe. It seems. My name is Sophie Boyer. I'm calling you from France, right next to the border with Switzerland, Geneva. I've been trained as a Dharma teacher by Bodhi College for about 3 years and served as a Buddhist nun in Burma for 2 years and a half and practiced in many different centers you may all familiar with in the UK and the US. And I'm very much interested in working in healthcare department where I teach meditation to oncology, to an oncology ward, in an oncology ward. For patients and also for caregiver nurses and doctors. I'm also very much interested in the relationship between nature and the Dharma, and that's why I chose this topic of entering fall this week. I just put on the chat, the link for donation. As you know, Sangha Life and the teachers are offering this session for free, and are really grateful for your support in order for these sessions to go on and to spread the Dharma and to have an opportunity to practice all together. So thank you very much. It's really deeply appreciated. Yeah, so I think we're gonna start now. Yesterday, we started the session with a very simple statement that is, we are nature. And for this reason, the season of fall, like any other season, creates some condition with which as human beings are deeply intertwined with. And actually, there is absolutely no border or no separation between human and nature. And as we noticed, this time of the year is often accompanied with low energy, maybe sometimes low mood, a kind of a sense of anxiety and vulnerability running the show in the background. And vulnerability is what I would like to explore briefly with you this morning. And what is it that makes us experience vulnerability maybe more vividly at this time of the year? And also exploring in the course of our practice, where does vulnerability take root in? If we observe what nature does in autumn, we come to see that one aspect is that the cycle of life has accomplished a kind of a circle. Just to give an example amongst many other, a seed that was in the soil was nurtured enough to develop and to grow, and maybe to become a flower or a tree or bearing fruits or veggies, whatever. And now, on that circle, in decaying and dying, it's going to nurture the soil again and offer the promise of a new life. This is what we could explain as the natural flow of life. And this time of decay is often met with quite some difficulties, in human experience. It's not difficult to really realize very quickly, our own tendency or maybe habits to resist, to be fearful. This is a time that usually on top is accompanied with a kind of, as I mentioned yesterday, blindness. We cannot clearly see anymore what comes next. This is the darkness of autumn and winter. And on top, the energy in the body seems to have a little bit withdrawn. And because of these conditions that have arisen, sometimes a sense of vulnerability arises quite vividly. Or we could say it is experienced more vividly in fall. And this is why this really maybe requires very close attention. And again, a deep sense of care. And maybe one helpful question here is, what is it that is threatened here? What is it that is threatened here? What is it that feels vulnerable? You know, the kind of vulnerability that is accompanied with a great sense of discomfort. You know, maybe the kind of vulnerability, could we say, that is taking root in fear. Another question is there somebody here who is trying to defend or to resist to the natural flow of life? Yeah? And is this working? Is it helpful? Is this vulnerability we're talking about here is based upon a strong sense of self? You know, who is vulnerable? Me? What am I trying to resist to? Is there this desire in some way, you know, I don't want to disappear. Again, we are nature. So what is the way to harmonize this inner autumn with outer autumn? What could it be? What about connecting, relating with? You know, just to, as we all practice already, but to learn to meet with this natural flow of life in a way is really to recognize that this is also to learn to receive. When we learn to connect with the natural flow of life, you know, this autumn unfolds, mood, mind state, low energy, fear, anxiety. In learning to meet with that is also to learn to receive. To receive maybe requires, first of all, we were talking about vulnerability related to me, sense of self, sense of I am. But to receive maybe requires to empty oneself. It's maybe to really dig in and to have nothing, to be inwardly kind of naked, without attachment, without past, without future. And really to receive us to dwell in an absolute, really absolute vulnerability. And again, not the kind of vulnerability that is based upon fear. What I want to control, what I want to keep, or what I do not want to experience. A more kind of vulnerability that will be accompanied with peace, faith, and ease. in a vulnerability that takes root in acceptance and generosity, maybe. Giving myself fully to this moment, no matter what it contains. A giving process that is also, as I said, is also a space of receptivity. This is where we receive. And when in this absolute vulnerability, there is no one who is trying to defend itself, an idea or whatever. Vulnerability maybe becomes strength. It's just really an invitation to really explore these two ways, we experience vulnerability. And just noticing when vulnerability is based upon fear, strong sense of I am, on where vulnerability is really a relinquishing, really releasing, and a space where it's just about dwelling, being at peace and at ease, allowing the natural process of life unfolding, no matter what it is containing. Just would like to finish with a short words from Rumi, where he says, if you only know what bliss I found in being nothing, you would not advise me how to live. When the sword of nothingness ends my life, I will laugh at those who mourn my death. I put this on the chat for you. Yeah. So there will be a time of sharing after. We're going to practice now together. So please find a comfortable posture that is suitable for you this morning, in this moment. Whether it's sitting, whether it's lying down, or standing or walking, just being in the inquiry of what feels supportive in this moment, as a way to enter in that space of being here and now. And you're just taking a minute for acknowledging the fact that how fortunate to be able to meet this morning together, connecting together through internet, but still connecting and practicing for the purpose of freeing the heart, freeing the mind, and supporting one another on that path. And just to see if this acknowledgement, bring a sense of appreciation for life. And really inviting awareness to land in this moment. You're connecting with the earth beneath our feet, grounding this being in the earth, with the solidity rooting in the earth. Yeah, give him some time, giving some space, for in order for things to settle. Maybe a bit of agitation or energy or lack of energy in the body, thinking, tension. Noticing maybe some mood, mind state. Not trying to resist to anything. Just acknowledging all this as being part of human experience, of life expressing itself in so many different ways. Grounding the attention in the body, whether on physical sensations or the flow of breath, the symphony of sounds, whatever feels appropriate for you right here, right now. Allowing earth, the solidity of earth, the element of earth, to support us. And with the gift of our attention, giving ourselves fully to this moment, allowing ourselves to receive, and placing this attention in a receptive space, what we call sometimes silence. Connecting with the simplicity of this moment, whether anchoring on the breath, the sound, physical sensation. Not easy, but very simple. And if it feels right for you, just exploring vulnerability in its different aspects, in its different manifestation. When vulnerability looks like a sense of fear based upon the fear of losing something or not allowing something to go. or the vulnerability that is filled with ease and peace. This is just rooted in the ground of being. Maybe being with no one there. How does it feel when there is no control? No control, but deeply rooted. Deeply connected to this moment and what it presents. Is vulnerability an issue when there is a deep sense of connection? And really notice the difference when this sense of connection is present and when it's not. The season of autumn deserves our attention and care like any other season. Sometimes it requires a bit of effort to discover the fragrance of this season, or to get in touch with the sparkling colors of the leaves. In the midst of darkness, there can be lightness and joy. Even if it's small. Acknowledging no matter what conditions may arise, no matter what this moment may contain, when there is this willingness to relate to connect, realizing the potential here of experiencing this moment in a radical, different way. Just this. being nothing, of the power of vulnerability. As this time of formal practice is coming to an end, and that at your own rhythm, you may like to open your eyes or stretch your body, and noticing actually that the end of this sitting is not the destruction of anything. And opening the eyes and starting something new. It's just a continuity. Can we learn to look at life as a process? But there is no real separation between the ending and the beginning of something else. Thank you. Just taking the time here again to stretch your body, or with a sip of tea or whatever. And we'll end the last 15 minutes more or less of this morning session sharing about, maybe if you have questions, please put your question in the chat. Also, if you just wish to share, reflecting, how is it for you, this theme of vulnerability, when it comes to this season, how this vulnerability manifests this time, or in this time of the year. Please feel free to do so. And if you want to come up in front of the screen, I will try to make this happen. Not sure yet I remember how this works. Any comment, reflection, questions, or need to share something? Of course, it's also very okay not to say anything. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Laura. I think darkness has always been associated with fear for me. But when I let the darkness overwhelm me, I see light. Dear Stanford, you mentioned connection. Connection to what or whom? That's a good question. Thank you. It's really, turning our eyes inwardly. And when I say connecting, just connecting you with the sense of this body breathing. When my attention goes to the sensation of the in-breath, of the inflating of the stomach, of deflating of the abdomen, or sensing, the air coming in into the nostril. This is what I'm talking about. It's about coming back here and connecting with life, that is expressing itself in this body right here, right now. This is what I meant by connecting, and to really learn to pay attention to what this simple exercise of coming back here and now in life now, what does it make us experience? Does it slightly change the way we experience this moment? Does it slightly change the way we experience oneself as well? That's what I'm talking about. Does it, I hope it respond to what you say. Alice, it's difficult if it's dropping. To let vulnerability shine, I feel a sense of battling inside to urge me to hide it. Do you have an advice maybe to soften those contractions? Yeah, it's so normal, and there are many ways, Alice, to do this, and this is what we're going to explore furthermore all along the week. The important thing is to learn to really nurture and warm the heart. Again, this autumn season is really a descent into darkness, into what we are conditioned to experience as something, fearful, what we don't want, that is kind of dirty, well, we don't really see it like me. So we need to bring the heart and mind into balance. And for this, of course, there are many ways. And for example, as what I mentioned yesterday, the four Brahma Vihara, cultivating kindness, cultivating compassion, cultivating also the ability to rejoice, or to cultivate gratitude as well, to bring a sense of balance. And that will really help, noticing things in a very different way. And just to see if it helps to release this kind of contraction, this kind of battling, if it helps to experience them in a very radical, different way, actually, different way. George, sun is coming up after some very grey days, noticing the joy my body expresses just by sensing the light and warmth of the sun. Yeah. Wendy, I enjoy connecting to the trees outside my window and the bulbs I have recently planted. Yeah, this is one aspect, is really to learn to what warms the heart, what brings this sense of connection, what makes us feel connected. Comment, Fiona. I have very positive memories, associations of comfort and safety and peace with autumn. Thinking about autumn really helped me to connect with a felt sense of safety and peace. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for that. We have a nice poem. Cold on the outside, warm in the middle, windy on the outside, still in the middle. Perhaps metaphor as well as a reality. Good. thing in that season is that, as we said, everything becomes dark. The earth, the soil, and the ground of our being also, we can, metaphorically, is reaching a point of kind of sterility. I hope I'm not misusing the word in English here. But the ground becomes sterile. So upon these conditions, where are we going to take refuge is really the question. Where are we going to find refuge? And that's why this refuge cannot be a place somewhere. It's more about according ourselves, harmonizing ourselves with the flow of life that is constantly moving and changing, and actualizing this moment to moment. And in doing so, just noticing for oneself, what's the effect? Really, what's the effect? Does it bring a sense of connection or disconnection? Is vulnerability experienced as a strength there, or as a discomfort? Really, to learn to play with that. And one more thing, it's I guess you're familiar with that. It's really about learning not to reject these moments of darkness, this sense of vulnerability that comes out of fear, fear of uncertainty, fear of not seeing clearly, fear of darkness. It's really about learning to open to it. And this is probably what is the most difficult, because when it comes to difficult experience, as we all know, we tend to run away or to deny or to resist. We don't want these things. So this is really something to learn, to recognize as when we're doing this, in order to place some distance with that, which usually is a source of releasing as well. I hope I haven't missed any comment. Lizzie, I don't see it as sterility, but more than nature comes to a stagnancy. Yeah, maybe that's a better word in English. You're right. You're absolutely right with that. Which hints at an ending or death, but of course that is not the whole story. Yeah. Thank you for this clarification. I think it's a much better word. Yeah. Thank you, Patricia, for your comment. Yeah. That's deep. Staying open to pain and illness in myself and those dear to me. Oh yeah, dear Catherine, I know. Sometimes when we're facing really big challenges, sometimes appropriate response is also to turn away from it for a while, to direct our attention to something that is more neutral, or that will again warm the heart. But we're really going to practice all these things as well, to really how to bring the heart and mind into balance, in the midst of the difficulties that we encounter in this season. Okay, so the session is coming to an end with a deep sense of gratitude for all your participation, your practice, for being here with us, and thank you to Asangalai for offering this space of practice. I wish you a lovely day, and with great pleasure to meet again, maybe tomorrow morning. Take a good care. And if you wish to donate, I think you can see the link up there. Thank you so much. Have a good day.